Okay, so this is part two. So I'll show you the motherboard that's going to go into the case. So this is a old school motherboard. It's a LGA 775 with a Core2Quad CPU, Q9550, Q9550, right? So we got 8 gigs of DDR2. I think it's running at 800 megahertz. And from what I understand, I'm not positive, but I think on this platform or this particular motherboard, you can only up the maximum you can put on a motherboard. On this motherboard is only 8 gigabytes. You can't put 16, which kind of sucks because you know, a lot of games, even the indie games, you're at the 8 gigabytes of system RAM or a little bit over that, so that kind of like is a bummer. So that makes it a little bit limiting on this particular platform that you can't put 16 on there. So me personally, I recommend either at the very least first generation Intel, or look at the AMD motherboards. I don't know all the I'm not familiar with the AMD motherboards, but I do have an FX board here. I can show you. Let me see. Yeah, I'll show you that in the next segment, because I do have an AM3 board, and that one supports 16 gigs. But yeah, so we're like way back in the past here. We're like I think 2009. I think this is what this is. So this is like way back in the past. So on 775, most boards, from what I understand, you can only put 8 gigs of system RAM. So that's going to limit you to what kind of games you can play. And what else? This is a cute little Cooler Master 92 millimeter air cooled. And the way it's attached is using the traditional Intel plastic thingies like that. Fingers, you just stick them down the hole and then you press down, right? So that's how this one works, 92 millimeter. And this is more than enough. I don't do any overclocking, so I don't know anything about that, but just standard, not overclocked, this is more than enough to keep the CPU cool, even with Cinebench. But you know, in games, you know, it's only like what, 50%, 70% under game load. Let's see what else. The video card slot is slot 3 and 4. You know, that's where you're gonna put the video card slot on this particular motherboard is gonna be on slot 3 and 4. Yes, slot 3 and 4, right? And so the first two slots, normally I use them to put a Wi-Fi card. And of course, on this you only have old school USB 2, so you don't have the USB 3 plug here. So if your case is a modern one, you remember to buy the USB 3 adapter, USB 3 to USB 2, so you can plug the modern style blue plug. You're going to plug it in here with the adapter. There's your film panel. You got 6 SATAs for you know, hard drives or SSDs, right? Of course, you know, because the platform is slow, these are going to run kind of slow, but good enough, right? I think that's the audio. Usually the audio is right here. So where's the audio on this one? Oh, this is weird. The audio is over here. The front audio plug. So when you put the audio, that's kind of ugly. So you gotta route the audio plug either this and then go up or go across. I think you the audio plugs right here. I would recommend just going up then and in the back end, or use an extension if your case doesn't. If the wire is not long enough, HD audio, and then run a little extension up here. 24 pin, the 4 pin is right here. So that also, if you only got a 4 pin, that also tells you that it's not going to pull a lot of watts, obviously, right? If it's only a 4 pin. What else? Battery, right? CMOS battery, bias battery. I don't know where to clear the CMOS on this. Oh, there it is. Right there. Next to the battery is this clear CMOS 2 pins. This one doesn't come with a jumper, so you have to have a jumper borrowed from another motherboard. If you got other motherboards, you can borrow the jumper, or I guess you can just use a screwdriver or something to touch this. If you don't have if you don't want to be professional about use a jumper, I guess you can just touch it with a pliers or screwdriver for 10 seconds with the battery in place, and you turn off the computer, right? And when you jumper it, the battery power should be enough to reset the BIOS chip. I don't see it here where it is, so, but it's one of these chips here. Sorry. And what else? Make sure when you're looking at these motherboards where all the case fans are. So there's one right here. There's this one here. So these can be used for the front case fans, or the one down here, one on the top, right? And there's a case fan here. So there's 3. And even on this old one, this one is for the front. This one you can use for the top, and this case fan you can use for the back, in the traditional place. What else? And here in the back, it's got it can't be too poor of a board. Look at this. So, looking at this header, this is not like stripped down. This is kind of like a middle grade motherboard, because it has the 6 audio ports, which you don't see on like stripped down. So that's kind of nice. And then you got USB 2.0. There is no 3.0. And then you got PS2 keyboard, PS2 mouse, and digital out audio. And I think this is not sure if this is video out, coaxial, old school TV. I'm not sure. So there's that. Yeah, and if you're wondering about video cards, normally on something like this, because it's so old and slow, I would say something no more than 3050. Even that's overkill, right? But like if you got like a 3050, 1070, go online and look at the GPU. What do you call it? GPU hierarchy, GPU tier list on Tom's Hardware or some of the other companies, and they'll have show you a whole list of video cards. So I would say something as slow as this, maybe like a 3050, a 1070, or the equivalent from Radeon, right? And I think that's going to be it for this clip. Then I'll show you a little bit my video cards and the power supply on the next clip. Bye.